Hello and welcome to the AI Lab by Optas.ai. This is episode 9, and today we're talking about Google Gemini for beginners, a complete getting started guide for anyone who wants to understand what it is, how it works, and how to start using it with confidence. If you are new to Gemini, this episode is for you. We'll walk through the basics, explore what the tool can do, and share simple ways to get started so you can make the most of it without feeling overwhelmed. Let's get into it.
Imagine a tool that over 900 million people use every single month.
Which is just a staggering number when you think about it.
Right. It's huge. And now imagine that exact tool suddenly evolving from, a passive, slightly clunky encyclopedia into an active assistant.
A very active assistant.
Exactly. One that is proactively reading your emails, looking at your schedule, and, organizing your digital life while you sleep.
Yeah, that's the reality of it now.
So, looking at the landscape today, specifically at Google Gemini in the middle of 2026, that old metaphor of AI being just a search engine on steroids, that is completely dead.
It is fundamentally outdated.
Yeah.
The paradigm has shifted entirely, and understanding that shift is, it's the key to actually unlocking the value of what's sitting right in front of us.
So it's kind of the difference between asking a search engine for a recipe and having an AI act like a chef that actually, plans the menu, checks your pantry, and just cooks the meal for you.
That is a perfect analogy, yeah.
And that is our mission for this deep dive today. We are cutting through all that massive amount of AI noise to deliver a clear, practical roadmap for you listening. We're looking at what Google Gemini actually is today, how it's changed, and how you can use it without feeling completely overwhelmed.
And, that feeling of overload is completely natural. The pace of development over the last year has been just staggering.
Oh, it's been dizzying.
Right. We've moved from systems that just generate text to systems designed to take complex actions on your behalf.
Yeah.
But to understand what this can actually do for you, we kind of have to look at the engine powering it.
Which takes us right to those massive structural upgrades Google rolled out at their I/O conference back in May of 2026. Let's start with the baseline.
Sounds good.
If you log into the free version of Gemini today, you're interacting with a model called Gemini 3.5 Flash. And the metrics on this are just wild.
They really are. It operates at, 4 times the output speed of other frontier models?
Exactly. 4 times the speed. And it actually beats Google's older premium model, 3.1 Pro, in coding and agentic benchmarks.
Which is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And to put that in perspective, a frontier model is just the industry term for the absolute cutting edge of AI. The massive systems pushing the boundaries.
Right.
And those agentic benchmarks we mentioned, they test something very specific. It's not just testing if an AI knows a random fact.
It's testing if it can actually do this.
Exactly. They test if the AI can take a broad goal, break it down into logical steps, execute them, and this is the key part, course correct if it hits an obstacle.
So by making 3.5 Flash the default free experience, Google is kind of establishing a very high floor.
Oh, absolutely. They're signaling that basic agentic behavior is no longer some, premium feature. It's the new baseline for how we interact with computers.
Okay, which brings up the next major announcement, and this is the one that really got people talking. Gemini Spark.
Yes, Spark, the big one.
Right. So if 3.5 Flash is the smart baseline, Spark is the full realization of that agentic behavior. It's a 24/7 cloud-based personal AI agent.
Meaning it works in the background even when your laptop is completely shut and your phone is locked.
Yeah, and the use cases they provided were things like parsing your raw credit card statements to find hidden subscriptions, or monitoring your work emails for shifting deadlines.
Or even taking scattered meeting notes and automatically drafting a polished proposal by the time you wake up.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because handing over raw financial data and giving an AI, uninterrupted access to my inbox, that requires immense digital trust.
Oh, for sure. It's a massive leap.
It's a little intimidating. How is Google actually sandboxing this data to make sure the Spark agent isn't, cross-contaminating my personal life with its broader training data?
Well, that is the critical question of this generation of AI. And frankly, it is healthy to be highly skeptical here.
Good, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Not at all. The shift toward agentic AI requires a fundamental redesign of data architecture. What Google is doing with Spark is essentially creating a partitioned, encrypted memory vault that is specific to you.
So it's totally walled off.
Exactly. The data the agent parses, your credit card statements, your private emails. that is not being fed back into the foundational training data of the main Gemini model for the rest of the world.
Okay, that makes sense.
The agent acts as a localized reasoning engine. It operates strictly within the walls of your Google account, doing all that heavy lifting and context gathering securely in the background.
Okay, that makes the concept much more approachable. It's a localized reasoning loop, not an open broadcast to the internet.
Right.
And it is worth noting for you listening that Spark is currently a US-only beta, and it's limited to Google AI Ultra subscribers who are paying $100 a month.
Yeah, so it is very much positioned as a tool for extreme power users right now.
But there is a proactive feature rolling out more broadly that operates on those same principles, right? The daily brief.
Oh, I love the daily brief. It's an excellent entry point into proactive AI. It's a highly practical application of that background reasoning we were just talking about.
Because it runs overnight, synthesizing your inbox, your calendar, your task list, but it doesn't just hand you a boring chronological list of everything you got.
No, that wouldn't be very helpful.
Right. It actually evaluates your ongoing goals to deliver this personalized, skimmable morning digest. It surfaces the pressing items first and suggests specific next steps.
And the mechanism behind how it evaluates priority is fascinating. Older systems use rule-based, logic-like, flag emails from my boss.
Right, simple rules.
But the daily brief uses semantic understanding. It maps the relationships between the data. If it reads an email from a client mentioning Q3 deliverable, it vectorizes that info, cross-references it with a spreadsheet you were working on yesterday, and realizes your deadline just shifted.
Wow.
It understands the semantic weight of the context. That allows it to curate your morning intelligently, drastically reducing the cognitive load required just to start your way.
That is wild. But if the AI is doing all this complex reasoning in the background, typing commands into a tiny text box feels, completely inadequate.
It really does.
How are users actually supposed to communicate with an agent this smart? That seems to be the driving force behind the redesigned interface and the new creative tools.
Exactly. The bottleneck was no longer the intelligence of the model. The bottleneck was the interface itself.
And Google addressed this with what they call the neural expressive redesign. The aesthetic is updated, sure, but the functional changes are what actually matter here.
Right, like Gemini Live.
Yes, the voice mode. It's now folded directly into the core experience. You can switch seamlessly between typing and talking without breaking the context of your conversation.
And the system handles much longer, uninterrupted speech now. You do not have to talk in short, robotic prompts anymore.
Which perfectly mirrors human cognition, honestly.
It really does. We do not communicate in just one modality. Sometimes you need to dictate a long, messy, unstructured thought out loud just to get it out of your head.
Exactly, like pacing around the room talking.
But then you want to use your keyboard to make a very precise, targeted correction to the text it generated. Forcing users to pick a dedicated voice mode or text mode creates unnecessary friction.
So merging them into a single continuous stream makes it feel significantly more natural.
Absolutely.
And you aren't just generating text or voice anymore. Gemini generates images directly in the chat using Google's Nano Banana models, specifically Gemini 3.1 Flash Image and 3 Pro Image.
Which, I have to say, the name Nano Banana sounds like a quirky internal joke.
It really does, but the output is remarkable. And then there is the massive leap for paid subscribers, Gemini Omni.
Yeah, the Nano Banana architecture is actually quite interesting before we jump to Omni. It represents a shift toward highly compressed, efficient image generation models.
How so?
Well, instead of relying on massive compute overhead to generate a visual from scratch, it understands visual composition at a structural level first. So it prioritizes speed and fidelity right there in the chat interface.
That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Gemini Omni, that is the true paradigm shift for creative workflows.
Completely agree.
Omni transforms text, images, and video prompts into cinematic, high-quality video instantly. So, where older AI models basically just painted a static picture, Omni seems to be acting more like a physics engine.
Yes, exactly.
It's calculating how light, shadows, and gravity should affect an object over 10 seconds of video, all based on a plain language prompt.
That is a very accurate way to visualize it.
Yeah.
Omni understands the temporal relationship between frames.
Meaning how time passes in the video.
Right. When you ask it to generate a video of a car driving down a rainy street, it isn't just generating consecutive images. It is mathematically predicting the fluid dynamics of the water splashing, the reflections of the neon lights on the wet pavement, the physics of the car's motion.
It's incredible.
It significantly lowers the barrier to entry for high-end video creation.
Okay, so creating cinematic video from your keyboard is visually stunning. But how does this apply to an actual workday? Because the real magic of this technology doesn't happen in a vacuum.
No, it happens when you apply it to the work you're already doing.
Exactly. And this is where we see Gemini's deepest structural advantage. Its integration into the Google Workspace ecosystem.
This integration is the core differentiator between Gemini and almost every other standalone AI tool on the market right now.
Because Gemini isn't just a website you visit, it's a layer over where you already work. It lives inside Gmail, drafting replies or summarizing 50 email-long threads.
Which is a lifesaver.
Oh, absolutely. It sits in Google Docs, helping you rewrite sections or adjust the tone. It's in Google Sheets, allowing you to generate complex pivot tables just by typing what you want to calculate in plain English. And it acts as a universal search engine across your entire Google Drive.
And to understand why this matters, we have to talk about how large language models function. An AI is essentially a prediction engine, right? And the accuracy of its predictions depends entirely on its context window. That's the information it holds in its active memory.
Okay.
A standalone AI might be incredibly smart, but it has total amnesia about your business or your life until you manually copy and paste your documents into it.
Right, you have to feed it everything every single time.
Exactly. But by living inside Workspace, Gemini inherently possesses your context. When you tell it to draft a response to Sarah based on last week's project notes, it dynamically retrieves the emails from Sarah and queries your drive for the project notes. It builds the context window automatically.
I actually tried a specific feature recently that perfectly illustrates this. It's called deep research. Instead of just giving me a list of links, it built a structured, heavily cited competitive analysis that would have easily taken me 3 hours.
Deep research is a fascinating application of what we call tree of thought prompting, combined with autonomous web scraping.
So how is it actually navigating the web to build that report? Because it felt like it was doing real work.
Well, when you give it a prompt, it doesn't just execute a single search. It breaks your request into subqueries. It searches the web, reads the top results, and then pauses.
It actually stops to think.
Basically, it evaluates the text, realizes it's missing a specific piece of data, and autonomously generates a new search query to find that missing link. It branches out, essentially building a knowledge tree.
Wow.
It evaluates the domain authority of the sources, cross-references conflicting claims, and synthesizes the findings into a cited document. But because this iterative loop requires massive compute power, Google does limit free users to just 5 uses per month.
Right, those run out fast. But that explains why the output is so structured compared to a standard chat response. Now, if you find yourself running the same type of analysis over and over, there is a feature designed to save you time called gems.
Yes, gems are incredibly useful.
You essentially build custom AI rules. Like, you could build a financial data formatter gem, you give it your specific formatting rules once, and then it is locked in forever.
Gems solve the problem of prompt fatigue. Writing a highly detailed 5-paragraph prompt to get the AI to behave exactly how you want every single time is tedious.
It's exhausting.
A gem allows you to codify those system instructions permanently. You're creating a specialized microagent tailored to a highly specific, repetitive task.
Now, there are 2 other distinct workspaces we need to clarify for everyone listening because they sound somewhat similar, but they serve entirely different purposes. Canvas and Notebook LM.
Yes, definitely need to separate those two.
So Canvas is a side-by-side workspace within Gemini. You have the chat interface on one side and your document or code open on the other. It allows you to highlight a specific paragraph and ask the AI to rewrite just that section without regenerating the whole thing.
Canvas is built for iteration. It is for the active creation and refinement process where you need spatial awareness of the entire project while you make targeted edits.
Right. Whereas Notebook LM, which has been deeply integrated into the Gemini iOS app since early 2026, is an AI research notebook. And the crucial distinction here is that Notebook LM is grounded only in the specific sources you upload to it.
That distinction is paramount, especially when we talk about accuracy. When you use the standard Gemini chat, you are conversing with a model whose weights and predictions are influenced by the entire open internet.
Which is vast and messy.
Very messy. If it doesn't know a fact, its predictive nature might try to guess, which is what we call a hallucination.
So how does Notebook LM prevent that from happening?
It uses a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or ARRAY, but it restricts the semantic search space entirely.
Meaning it only looks at what you give it.
Exactly. When you upload 10 PDFs to Notebook LM, you are creating a closed universe of facts. When you ask a question, the system does not query its core training data or the internet. It searches only the text of your uploaded documents.
Oh, that's smart.
It retrieves the relevant paragraphs and uses the language model strictly to summarize what it found in those specific passages. It physically restricts the AI from making up facts because you've constrained its data pool. It is indispensable for anyone handling dense material like legal contracts or academic research.
Okay, so hearing all of this, the ecosystem integration, the creative tools, the localized reasoning, the question for you listening becomes, how do you actually get your hands on it? What does it cost? And do you need it if you already use a tool like ChatGPT or Claude?
Well, the barrier to entry is almost non-existent at this point.
Truly, if you have a Google account, you're basically already set up. It's completely free on the web, on iOS, Android, and there is a native Mac desktop app for macOS 15 or higher.
Very easy to access.
Let's look at the pricing tiers really quick. The free tier is $0, giving you 15 gigabytes of storage and access to that incredibly fast Gemini 3.5 flash model.
Which is great for everyday stuff.
Definitely. But the sweet spot for a professional workflow is the Google AI Pro tier at $19.99 a month. This upgrades you to the Gemini 3.1 Pro model, gives you access to the Omni video generation, bumps your storage to 2 terabytes, and unlocks a massive 1 million token context window.
And that context window size is a massive differentiator.
It really is. To visualize a 1 million token window, imagine being able to hand the AI the entire Harry Potter book series twice in a single prompt.
That's a lot of text.
And then asking it to trace the evolution of a single character's dialogue across all the books. It can hold all of that in its active memory simultaneously.
It's mind-boggling.
And briefly, on the ultra premium end, the Google AI Ultra tier, where the Spark 247 agent lives, that saw a significant price drop from $250 down to $100 a month.
That price drop is a strong market signal. Google is clearly trying to make true, persistent agentic AI more accessible to power users. They're shifting it from an enterprise-only luxury to more of a prosumer tool.
Now, regarding the competitor landscape, where does Gemini actually fit? Based on our analysis of the sources, here is the breakdown. Gemini wins decisively on Google ecosystem integration and seamless multimodal capabilities.
No question.
ChatGPT still holds the crown for broad, generalized capability and its massive third-party plugin network. And Claude from Anthropic is generally preferred for handling incredibly nuanced, long-form, human-sounding writing.
Yeah, the AI wars are no longer about which model scores 2 points higher on a standardized benchmark test.
Right, nobody cares about that anymore.
Exactly. The real battle is about reducing friction in your daily workflow. If your emails, your spreadsheets, and your company documents already live inside Google Workspace, then Gemini is objectively the lowest friction choice.
Is it just right there?
Exactly. You do not have to export a CSV file, upload it to a third-party AI, wait for the analysis, and paste it back into your presentation. The AI layer simply exists where the data already lives. And in enterprise software, the reduction of friction almost always beats raw, isolated computational power.
That framing makes a lot of sense. It is all about workflow optimization, not just raw intelligence. So let's make this incredibly practical. We have 5 immediate, actionable ways you can start using Gemini today to actually see this in practice.
Because theory is great, but applying it to your own data is where the real aha moment happens.
Exactly. Number 1, summarize your email backlog. Just open Gmail, hit the Gemini button, and ask it to pull out the action items from a massive thread.
And because it tokenizes the entire thread and understands the semantic flow of the conversation, it can identify who agreed to do what. That saves you the time of reading 20 back and forth replies.
Huge time saver. Number 2, draft a document from a brief, open a blank Google Doc, type out 3 rough bullet points of what you want to convey, and ask Gemini to generate the first draft.
It cures writer's block instantly.
For sure. Number 3, try deep research. Pick a complex topic you've been meaning to understand, run a query, and just watch it build that knowledge tree and format a cited overview.
It's mesmerizing to watch. And for number 4, I highly recommend investing 10 minutes to build a custom gem. Identify one repetitive administrative task you hate doing, write the system instructions for how it should be handled, and save it. You will save hours over the course of a month.
Brilliant. And number 5, try Gemini Live hands-free. Put your headphones in during your next commute, turn on live, and dictate your messy thoughts to have it help you plan your week out loud.
It's like having a brainstorming partner.
It really is. But to get the most out of any of these features, you have to know how to communicate with the model. Our sources emphasize a few key tips for better results. First, do not ask generic questions. Be incredibly specific.
Super specific.
Don't just say, write me an email. Say, write a polite 2-paragraph email to a vendor declining their software demo, but maintain a positive tone for a potential relationship next year.
You have to act as the director. The model has infinite potential tones, so you have to narrow the parameters so it knows exactly what target it's trying to hit.
Another massive tip, upload actual documents to ground the model. Give it the context it needs so it doesn't have to guess. And use follow-up prompts. The first output is just a rough draft. Tell it to make it punchier, or to format the second paragraph as a bulleted list.
But we do need to issue a clear warning here regarding the nature of the technological. You must verify consequential information from primary sources.
Always.
Large language models, even the most advanced frontier models in 2026, are still fundamentally prediction engines. They are not databases of absolute truth.
Right, they're just guessing the next word.
They predict the statistically most likely next word based on their training. When the stakes are high, whether it's financial data, medical information, or critical business metrics, you must act as the editor and verify the output.
Using AI successfully right now is less about being a technical wizard who knows how to code and much more about acting like a highly effective manager delegating a task to an eager, competent, but sometimes overconfident employee.
That is the perfect way to look at it.
You have to provide the role, define the tone, supply the context, and ultimately have to review the work.
Stepping into that managerial role over your own digital workflow is the single best way to adapt to this technological shift.
So looking at what's coming next, Google has made their trajectory very clear. They are transitioning Gemini from a tool you actively open into a continuous AI system that anticipates your needs. Gemini 3.5 Pro is already in testing, the Spark agent is expanding beyond its US beta, and the integration across Search, Android, and Chrome is only deepening.
The evolution is moving from prompting the AI to the AI anticipating your context before you even type a single word.
To summarize everything we've covered, Google Gemini has evolved from a simple chatbot into a massive platform with a proactive agentic layer that leverages its deep ecosystem integration to reduce friction in your daily work. The best way to understand its power is simply to open it, give it a specific task, and learn by doing.
Just dive in.
Exactly. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to where we started. We talked about Gemini shifting into a proactive assistant that works in the background.
The agentic shift, right?
Here is a thought to take with you. If tools like Gemini Spark and the Daily Brief are running 24/7, parsing your financial statements, monitoring your private communications, and actively reasoning about your life goals while you are fast asleep, at what point does your AI assistant stop simply managing your life and begin subtly shaping it?
That is a profound shift in human-computer interaction to consider.
Something to ponder the next time you open your personalized morning digest. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you for listening to episode 9 of the AI Lab. We hope this episode helped you better understand Google Gemini and gave you a clear starting point for using it with confidence. Please subscribe for more, and we invite you to join our community of learners by signing up to receive your free resource guide. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to reach out to contact@Optas.ai. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the AI Lab.